Our attention is a great currency that we have. And if we start seeing our attention as a currency, that, we start treating it differently. Like, imagine that you are, with your attention, donating money or energy to whatever you are paying attention to. So if we shift our attention from the play of power that is unfolding and choose to shift it to something else, even though it's difficult, it's not an easy task, because we are programmed to be paying attention to the drama and to the pain and to the suffering. And it's not about not being compassionate also, right? Because some people then get it into this dissectomy of like, if I don't pay attention to it, I am abandoning those people. Whereas when we start realizing that it all starts with us, and if we start holding the higher frequency, then we are helping to lift the frequency of others. And it all starts with our attention, where we place our attention on.
Welcome to Harmonic Alignment, a podcast that explores the new frontier of energy medicine, bridging the gap between Western medicine and quantum physics, giving you easy and practical solutions. Guided by me, Dr. Larissa Sharipova, and me, Priscilla Koblenz. Join us on a journey discovering your harmonic alignment. On today's episode of Harmonic Alignment, you are in for a treat with the beautiful Alice Nova. Alice is a quantum energy designer and former product innovation leader who bridges advanced spiritual technology with behavioral science to catalyze deep transformation. She created the Key Code, KI Code design method, a quantum energy healing modality that helps align your energetic blueprint with the next evolution of who you're here to become. Through her work, Alice guides her clients to release outdated patterns, activate their inner gifts, and consciously design a life that resonates with their highest truth. Her approach is both multidimensional, grounded, and supports powerful shifts from the inside out. Alice is a dear friend. We met at the Zach Bush retreat. This is such a fun interview, and there's such brilliant wisdom from her and her guides, Sophia and the Pleiadians. Enjoy this episode of Harmonic Alignment. I am so excited today on Harmonic Alignment. We're going to talk with such a gift and a jewel on this planet, and that is the beautiful and talented Alice Nova. I met Alice at Dr. Zach Bush's retreat in Costa Rica in April and immediately felt such a connection and kinship with this beautiful soul. She's here to talk about frequency, which is one of my favorite things on the whole planet. The unseen is more important. So Alice, welcome.
Thank you for having me. I am excited to have the conversation with you. We started having the conversations in private in Costa Rica, but now I am excited to bring it to the public.
Yay! So Alice, what's your story? Where are you from originally?
I was born in the Czech Republic on a small farm. When I was 18, I went to started a college, then started jobs, and having a really traditional life. Was always driven though by curiosity. That curiosity then led me to move across the ocean to the United States. So now I am based in the United States. How I got to start experiencing the realm of unseen and realm of energy was a journey that started with deep heartbreak and kind of loss of my identity. I always thought that I was supposed to be a mother, and there came a point in my life when I knew that that was not going to happen, and my entire identity crumbled down. And I needed to find a new path, really. And that's when the deep healing started, when I started discovering the world of energy. And as I was diving deeper and deeper, I started to realize that I can see energy, I can feel energy. And that was quite spooky at the beginning. It was unsettling because going from a very physical, materialistic life to something that you cannot see, you cannot touch, but you know that it's so real, led me to a journey where I started studying with a private teacher, the world of energy, the laws of energy world, and I started discovering that we are much, much more than what we can see. And I started not only discovering it by learning, acquiring knowledge, but by experiencing that. And once you start experiencing that, everything shifts. After that, I left the corporate world and really started working with people and using my abilities and my gifts to help people experience the world of the unseen and help them navigate through that, right? First, through helping them navigate through what they are experiencing and helping them shift that, because everything what we feel, what we see, is an energy and it can be shifted. We just weren't taught how to do it. So that's what I do.
Oh my gosh, Alice, I love that. What we're so needed right now is guidance because I think as more people are starting to understand the unseen and coming into maybe the gifts of the clairs that we call them, the claircognizance, clairvoyance, or the knowingness, is that it is a little scary because when you realize the unseen is more important and more powerful than the seen, it's a big shift for people, and it can be very unsettling. And it sounds like you had an excellent guide along the way.
I did. I was guided to a teacher who is now more of a mentor to me, where I still am in a very close contact with. And as I am stepping into still new iteration of my work and my mission here, he is there along the way to helping me navigate yet different aspects of energy work, because most recently I started stepping into channeling, which is yet another level of something that previously I would completely label it as the most craziest thing that you can do. Yet now I know that that's what I am here to do. My body can be attuned to different frequencies that then I can help transmit to, so people can actually attune and be held in those frequencies.
It sounds like what you are understanding is happening. You're feeling it in the physical and it's beyond the mind. And I think at first we need that science behind how energy works so that it calms the thinking mind down, saying, okay, I'm not completely crazy. This is real. This is really happening. And then it bypasses the mind and you were feeling all of this in your body. Is that the knowing? Because it almost is like, it's such a truth. Like it's a truth that you can't articulate with words.
That's very true. And what I also like, as I work with people, the first thing that I encourage them to do is to start attuning to their intuition,
Mm.
because it's this inner knowing that can bypass the analytical mind.
There's probably nothing more important on the planet for every soul than to tap into their own intuition or their, would we call that the higher self? Would you call it the divine?
I would call it higher self, right? And then by extent, the divine, right? It's this our inner wisdom that we all have. We all have access to the wisdom, right? And how I work with people, I work usually with helping them get out of the patterns that are not serving them. It's always, my work is guided by the intention of that person that I'm working with, because the way that I access and can see energy is a holographic field. And if that was not guided by intention, I would not know where to start. But the underlying intention that I hold for all the people that I work with is that they start tuning into their own inner wisdom, their own inner guidance. I am not here to be with them for the rest of their life. It's more about really attuning them into themselves to build the trust, because that's what is needed. We need to start listen and hear, and then the next step is to actually start trusting it. And how we trust it is that we start taking aligned action that is aligned with the piece of guidance or information that we hear, right? And we root it in our physical world, because what we need to do is to bring the energetic to the physical. And how we do that? By aligned action.
That's beautiful. So when you said you actually see energy, how do you see energy, if you don't mind sharing?
So it depends. Let's say that we are working on certain issue that the person is facing. When I tune into that, I see a pattern, how that issue was created and how that issue is still rooted within the energetic field or energetic blueprint of that person. And I am guided one by one to remove the blockages or the seeds that can be created or were created across time and space and are sometimes based in past lives or lives that are out of this planet, right? It really spans our all existence. As I tune into the blog, I can bring it forward and I read that information, and that information in that energy is communicated to me either through an image, through a short movie. Sometimes I see just a color, and the quality of that color communicates to me what is encoded in that energy, and then I communicate that to that person that I work with, because that is important. As we release patterns, we want to put something in place of it, because if there is a vacuum, most likely the old energy will sneak back in.
Okay. Well, you mentioned that you've now come into channeling. How has that gift arrived and how is that unfolding for you?
So I've been working with Sophia. She came to this life in this body as my guide. When I first started communicating with her, or like even getting to know her, I didn't know who Sophia was. So I was really untouched by the spiritual world. And it took probably a good 2 years when we were building relationship, when we were building trust, building the communication. And at certain point, she has made a request to channel her, to bring her knowledge or her wisdom to this physical realm. And I agreed. It took me on yet another path forward, I would say. It required me to prepare myself for that, as there was a lot of densities that were still part of my energetic makeup that needed to be released, transmitted. And so now I am stepping more into the public view of being a channeler. I am taking it one step at a time and making sure that my body, my nervous system is aligned with that. Because if we sometimes want to make the big quantum leaps, right? But we also forget that we are still in the body. And sometimes when we do it, it puts our nervous system into complete overdrive. So what I learned through my whole journey is that patience and taking one step at a time, it's quite critical.
I love that you just said that, Alice. You know, my name Priscilla means patience, and I don't think I have it very often. But what I think was so powerful, what you were talking about, is that in order to be that channel, is that you went and you had to go back and see where were the density, what was holding you in, and that your own personal growth was a huge part of how you get to this healing space is healing yourself. I think this idea of energy is that you can only hold the energy that your body is able to hold. And if it's still got all this stuckness from trauma or these experiences, this lifetime or another lifetime, that's a huge part of the process. Do you think we're here in this incarnation right now to clear that density out? Is that part
I,
of why we're here?
I think that many of us are. I believe that the information that I received or that were communicated to me is that the Akashic records at this moment, which is the library of all our knowledge, our wisdom, our incarnations, who we are really, is fully open for us. Whereas in previous incarnations, we were able to access only what we chose to learn in that particular lifetime. So it feels that way. It's my information. Again, I'm not saying that it's the truth, but it's my information. And based on what I was able to access for myself, I don't believe that the healing is completed.
Mm.
It's more about the expansion now than the healing. There was a point on my journey where I needed to reframe that, because when we are in the mindset of that we need to heal, we are also in the mindset of, well, we are the wounded.
That's very powerful. I'm so glad you said that. When we think we need to be healed, we don't see ourselves as whole, we see ourselves as lacking.
Yeah, exactly. And so that was a big reframe for me. So I don't necessarily use the healing that much in the language I use when I speak to clients or other people, because I believe that we are here to clear the densities
Mm.
for the reason to expand into the next iteration of who we are.
Oh, that's so beautiful. That gives me chills because yeah, we're here to expand. And it's like becoming the brightest version of yourself and clearing out any of that that isn't you anymore. The stuff you've added on that's blocking the true essence of who you are.
Yeah, because I believe that we are here to align with a new expanded frequency.
Mm.
And we cannot do it if the body still holds so much densities. So that's why there are so many people who are going through many different shifts, and they can manifest in many different forms, but it's all stored within the body. And what I learned that it's stored within the waters or
Ooh.
water structure of our bodies. And by healing or removing or releasing the densities, we are bringing the water back into the coherence, into the harmonic alignment.
Yes, yes, yes,
Yeah.
yes. As soon as you said the water, I immediately think of Veda Austin and her images. She had these beautiful images. They look like hieroglyphs. The first time I saw them, I could hear the music playing, and I was like, that's it. We are music. And what if the divinity in us is the water? Like, what if these sacred waters are how we are meant to communicate and move things through us?
Yeah.
Holy moly. Well,
Holy moly.
holy moly. One of the things we, I think, are in alignment with is that I remember Dr. Zach Bush said, there's never been a better time to be alive. And I remember having that full body, like knowing, I'm like, despite the chaos and the pain, like this is a time in history like no other.
Yeah.
What makes this so special? Is it the frequency is rising on the entire planet? What do you think about this time that makes it so unique?
I think that we are having quite unique opportunity to experience two different planes of existence within one lifetime. And by doing that, by choosing that, we also have the opportunity on our personal level to expand in a way that would not be otherwise possible. Or it would take, if we take the concept of time, it would take much longer or many different incarnations.
Yeah.
And I believe that, yes, we are here to make quantum leap, but within the quantum leap, let's take one step at a time. Right? Because it's so important to take the body as a partner, not as a burden, as a partner in this process. And I cannot agree with Zach Bush more. It's like we are in the most exciting times. I feel it in my in my bones that this is the most exciting times that to be alive, really.
Yeah, it
And
makes me giddy. And
I
someone
know
just so smile. I can't smile big enough at that statement.
at the same time, we are also facing the big shaking and falling off and old structures and old systems, which is not easy
Yeah.
because our safety has been attached to it.
Yeah.
So part of the expansion is again to unattach ourselves from that, but again, we are still in a body. So that it's important to take into consideration and make the body as a partner and don't blame the body.
Make the body as a partner, don't blame the body. I think one of the things, it's so easy to get stuck in that, well, the two worlds, I'll call them the 3D and the 5D, and that denser world of pain and suffering. And just if someone watches the news, which I try to advise everyone not to, but it lowers their frequency so they don't see the beauty of the time of our existence right now. They only see the destruction. Do you have, or does Sophia have any guidance on how to get, is it a level of awareness or rising in consciousness out of that? Because you can be on a repeat loop of all of the suffering.
Yes. And what she has communicated most recently was the power of our attention.
Mm.
And that our attention is a great currency that we have. And if we start seeing our attention as a currency, that we start treating it differently. Like imagine that you are with your attention donating money or energy to whatever you are paying attention to. So if we shift our attention from the play of power that is unfolding and choose to shift it to something else, even though it's difficult, it's not an easy task because we are programmed to be paying attention to the drama and to the pain and to the suffering. And it's not about not being compassionate also, right? Because some people then get it into this dissectomy of like, if I don't pay attention to it, I am abandoning those people. Whereas when we start realizing that it all starts with us, and if we start holding the higher frequency, then we are helping to lift the frequency of others. And it all starts with our attention, where we place our attention on.
I love that. When you meet with the people of your tribe, which I'll call our Zach Bush crew, we're all called together during this time to create new systems for everything, a new earth in a sense. How do we start to get to that next step of where we do put our attention? Do we get together and create a vision of a new healthcare system or a vision for a new community or any advice around that? What is that coming up for you?
I feel that we are at a point of great gestation, that many of us are here bringing different ideas, different technologies, and we are stepping into them. One thing is to see the vision or have the vision or have the information that you are here to do XYZ, whatever it is, to create the new, and this is the aspect of the new that you chose to create. The other part, that it's the most important part, is to take the aligned steps with it. Because sometimes we get scared. I know that that happened to me exactly where we met at the retreat in Costa Rica, where I was shown the vision of what I was here to bring and to co-create. And there was a big rise of unworthiness that started coming through me. And it required me to start aligning with it and start realize it's not easy, but it's again one step at a time. That's why I am in a process of like one step at a time and learning that, because I am also shedding my own programming of we need to get it now and fast, and we need to make the jumps, and all of that, that it's the old programming that I am shedding, and it's more about being present with what is.
Alice, I'm so grateful you shared that because that was my experience in December. I had this knowing of my purpose and my vision and to how to use my voice to heal. And everything in my life all of a sudden made sense. Everything I ever knew and experienced, all the different paths I'd taken were like, oh, you did all this because this is your purpose. But immediately that sense of I'm not worthy, there's no way my purpose is this big and this great and this epic, and I can't do this by myself. Who am I? Someone else just totally more worthy than I am. And I was like, it was overwhelming. Like if I hadn't had a few people to help guide through that, I don't know where I would be. But I think we all have something so great. And it's that clearing out that last bit of I'm not enough. It's this balance of I'm special and I'm not special. We're all special. I mean, I don't know how you say that and really feel and mean into that.
I cannot agree more, because that was coming up. The question that came, the first question was, why me? And when I started really asking that question and being in that inquiry of why me, the answer that came back was quite surprising. And it was because you chose it.
Wow.
And that put a lot of things into different perspective for me. It's that we all chose different aspect based on our, and I'm going to call it unique genius, based on what we learned through many, many different incarnations and from different planes of existences. We chose to come to this period of time on earth to create the new with the skills and abilities that we have. So the why me was kind of like, you chose it, so own it.
Yeah. Step up, get your big girl pants on. You've got this. You called this in. It's not by accident.
I believe that there is no such purpose or mission that it's more than or less than.
Yeah.
It all will come into this convergence that will start making sense to us once we start coming together more and more and aligning more and more. I truly believe in that we will start seeing the picture of, okay, this is where I fit in the overall puzzle. And the puzzle wouldn't be complete if all the pieces weren't there, and no one piece is more important than the other.
Right. They all have to come together. We're all
Exactly.
one. And that's that understanding that one person's healing is everyone's healing.
Yes.
Oh, Alice, this is so exciting. Well, how do the Pleiadians, can you share how that comes in for you and your healing?
So the Pleiadians came first, I would say. That it was before channeling. That's how I started to learn that I have some abilities that I could not find reference to. Like I was literally like looking at different videos of people because my hands were moving in a patterns in a way that I didn't orchestrate that, but I knew that it was perfect. And it was also so natural. It was this dance of my hands that was just the perfect rhythm, perfect cadence, perfect everything. It was just the most perfect thing, if there is such thing as perfect, that I felt in my body. It was so natural. And so then I started tuning into what is it. And that's when the Pleiadian Council came to my awareness. And they are really a collective of harmonic architects. And
Harmonic architects. I love that.
yeah, and what they specialize in is to help again go and unroot certain densities or certain seeds of that the density got sprouted from. And so when I work with people one-on-one, my hands are moving. I am seeing the energy, I am moving the energy, I'm helping them release and uproot the energy because they were also working on me. So sometimes it's almost like an energetic surgery that is being
Wow.
performed. They are guiding me, they were helping me to understand what my hands were doing, how they are guided. The mind is not involved in that, which is an interesting place to be, an experience to have when the mind is more involved in translating and communicating the energy to the person, but the hands are doing its work based on the attunement of the energy and how they see and feel that energy. So it's fascinating. I love doing that. It's a play almost.
You're having fun when you're doing it
I
in the
am,
zone.
even though I am working with people and we are facing some not so fun things, but also I know that my role is to hold the frequency so the person can actually relax and give themselves permission to actually release it, because I am there just to hold the frequency and help them with my hands to unsaw certain things and see certain things that they cannot see yet by themselves. But I believe that the biggest thing that I'm doing is holding the frequency.
Mm. Besides one-on-one, having sessions with you, you are also doing these key code activations for larger groups. Can you explain what happens when someone signs up to do the key code activation with you?
I call it the codes of light activations, and it's a group healing that I'm hosting twice a month. You are meditating, you are sitting and being really held in the frequency, and I am bringing not only the Pleiadian Council, but also Sophia and other goddesses that are aligned with Sophia, with the divine feminine wisdom, and they are there with us to hold you, to really hold you in the frequency of what you need. And the Pleiadian Council then works on the energetic level and helps you untangle certain things that might be tangled up. And that's how we release it, right? And then after that, we bring a lot of light and healing energies back to the body.
Beautiful. I experienced it myself. It's a fantastic way to get an upgrade and experience your healing. How can people work with you one-on-one?
Just a book session through my website. That is the easiest way. I would advise to book just one session instead of the packages first, because it's a different way and it's not for everybody. And I say it because I know that there are different modalities available, And you need to be in certain level of understanding to work with me, because we really go across time and space and dimensions and planets and galaxies sometimes. So having that understanding is important, or being open to it, because some people are not even open to it. So I would say that booking one session and experiencing it, that would be my recommendation. And then we can see how we can work together, because maybe 101 at this point might not be the best fit, but the group healing sessions might be, because it really, every person that it's part of it holds their own intention. And even though it's a group healing or group setting, the guides are working with each one of you to, based on your intention. And it really meets you where you are.
Beautiful. Alice, we always love to ask every guest this question of, if you had a microphone and you could talk to every soul on the planet, is there something that you wish every soul knew?
The power of self-forgiveness.
Mm.
I believe that is the key to our expansion, to healing a lot of the traumas or the densities that we hold, that we are bound by. Because when we forgive ourselves, we take responsibility, and we also don't allow judgment to sneak back in.
That's beautiful. Well, is there anything else that you feel called to share?
The only thing I would like to share is for people to drop into self-compassion. It's really a call to action from my part. Try to find self-compassion, because when you do, then we can actually send the compassion to others, and even to those that we might not agree with, that we might consider to be the evil. But it starts with self-compassion, and really finding where are we judging ourselves, and bringing compassion to it, because then you don't need to see energy, you don't need to necessarily know how energy works. But when you start bringing compassion, the judgment won't have a ground to stay on, and so it will dissipate, it will leave. Because I believe that it's through compassion we find our way to our self-love.
Mm. Yeah. And self-love is the key. Loving
Yes.
everything.
Yeah.
Yeah. Forgiveness and love. Alice, what a treat. I am so grateful that you shared your wisdom here. Your website is keycodedesign.com.
Yes,
Okay.
it's KICODE design.com.
Okay, beautiful. Well, you're sharing the light code activations. Is there any other events coming up?
I have one other event that I'm doing with a group of other healers. It's a free event that anybody can register for and attend. We are doing it to start attuning people to their intuition. So it's for every levels, and there are different channelers, different energy healers that will be doing different activations online, or like sharing their teachings or channeled wisdom. It should be fun.
Beautiful. Well, Alice, thank you so much for sharing your wisdom on harmonic alignment, and I can't wait until we meet again in person.
Thank you so much, Priscilla. It's been an honor.
Are you ready for your Energy for Life bioenergetic nest scan? Dr. Larissa Sharapova and myself, Priscilla Koblenz, offer personal, private, 90-minute consults to get you back to optimal health and well-being. For more details, visit the show notes or check out harmonicalignment.co. We hope you enjoyed today's episode of Harmonic Alignment. If something resonated with you, we would love to hear about it. Please consider leaving us a 5-star review and subscribing so you don't miss an upcoming episode. Thank you. The information contained in this podcast is provided for informational purposes only and not intended for the purpose of diagnosing, treating, curing, or preventing any disease. Before using any products referenced on the podcast, consult with your healthcare provider. Carefully read all labels and directions. The products and information received through the podcast should not be used to replace a consultation or advice from your healthcare provider. If you suspect you have a medical problem or have any healthcare questions, please promptly call your healthcare provider. This podcast, including Dr. Larissa Sharapova and Priscilla Koblenz and the producers, are not responsible for any possible adverse effects from the use of information contained in this podcast. This podcast may contain endorsements and advertisements for products or services. Individuals on this podcast may have a direct financial benefit to the product or services referenced.